Hi,
Hi.
Christina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Good. So, I'm Julianna. I'm the social worker. I'm going to be working with you for the next couple of weeks, weekly, every Tuesday until your discharge.
Cool. Sounds good.
So, how long have you been here for?
Probably about like 14 days now.
14 days.
Yeah.
How are you liking it so far? Are you sleeping well?
Uh,
Eating well?
I'm anxious. Like I want to go home. Like I
You're
want to go.
anxious? You want to go home?
Yeah. I want to go see my son. Like I want to go home. I want to get out of here. Like I'm over it. Like I'm
Okay,
done.
well that's great that you were able to notice that there's some things that goals that you want to have as soon as you get out of here. Do you have any discharge plans of maybe an aftercare program?
Yeah. I want to obviously get my son back. I want to like stay sober and make sure I'm clean for the rest of the time. And I want to find like safe housing for me and my son.
Okay. When you say safe housing, what do you mean?
Like I was a drug dealer, so they obviously all know where I live. The cops know where I live, so I want to like move out of where I am because it's not the best neighborhood. I want to go into a different house so that like no one knows where I am. I'm going to start fresh, bring my son in, make sure he has his own room. Nice small apartment. That's affordable, but something different, like to keep me out of the environment, so I don't go back to using drugs and selling and stuff.
That's great that you were able to identify at least four goals right there within yourself of getting your son back, living in a safer area. And that's something that we can definitely talk about and maybe work with a case manager and also the discharge planning of insurance companies also, where we could find maybe a safer home for you and your son.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your son.
So he's 2. He was born in November. His name is Michael. He's a great kid. Like he's always like fun to be around. He's always playful. Like I really I miss him. Like I miss being able to spend days with him when I was like I just want him back. Like I miss him.
You really love your son, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where is he? Where is he right now?
He's with my mom.
He's with your mom?
Yeah, he's staying at my mom's house for now. So
Okay.
yeah.
And is she? Have you guys talked about what's going to happen and maybe visitation, or have you ever talked about court, maybe visitation when you come home?
So right now, what we're gonna do, so she legally has custody of him. So when I get out, we're gonna go to court, and for right now, I'm gonna have visitations, and once during the week, and then on the weekends, and then after that, I'm gonna get myself a job. Keep up with my probation from the court and stuff like that, and then we're gonna work with being able to get my like full custody of my son back.
That's great that once again you were
Yeah.
able to identify that you want to do so many things after you plan on discharging.
Yeah, no, it's just want my son back. Like
Yeah.
I do miss him. Like I want him back.
Mhm. So is there anything that you see might be a trigger for yourself to, because you tested positive for cocaine and marijuana when you first came in. Is there anything that you would see, like you said, you wanted maybe a safe home, anything that would be a trigger for when you came home?
If I was to go home, it would probably be the area I was living in because
Mhm.
they're all drug dealers. It's easy to walk outside or like walk down the hall in my apartment and go find cocaine and marijuana and like use it. So if I get out of that area, I won't have like easy access.
Especially for your son,
Yeah.
that's how it all started, but for you.
Yeah,
And
and
around
especially
that.
if I'm gonna have my son, I don't want him, being exposed to it, and for my own self, like I know that if I am in there, like I won't be able to get my son back because it won't be easy because they're still gonna be like, oh well, like you're still living in the same area, so even if I get out of that, maybe I'd be able to get my son back and
Mhm.
start over and like start fresh.
Yeah, well, we can definitely, as I said, work on a plan to see if we can do something about your living situation. But as we know, that might not always be possible right away. So,
No,
what are some coping mechanisms that you maybe have identified with yourself, or we can work with? Maybe a couple strategies for when you feel like you might have a trigger, or you feel like there's something going on in the area. Maybe somebody you can call that you will feel safe. Because
Well,
as you said, it might not be right away
yeah.
when you leave out of here and you're gonna find
So
another
maybe what
place
I was thinking was maybe if with the help of you, maybe we can find like an outside like support group that like relatively like cheap or even free that I can attend maybe like once a week to so that if I do get a trigger, I have people in the group to like contact. But I've also made like a better connection with my mom, so like we've been going back and forth a lot about to call her when I'm feeling anxious or when I feel like I'm gonna start using again, and like call her and see if that would help me. And then, if I'm living in the area, kind of just, stay to myself now. I do have a ton of friends in there, but like I said, they're not the best people I want to be around anymore. They're not the people I want around my son. So even if I am staying there, maybe keeping to myself, or maybe, seeing if I can switch apartments within my area, like within the apartment building, maybe going up a floor where, there's elderly people around, or, there's more children around, because, on our floors there's all different kinds of people in our building. So maybe even just switching a floor where, like, I would have to leave my son by himself, which I'm not going to do, to go find the drugs.
Exactly. And we also, I can give you a bunch of list of things. We have AA meetings, NA meetings, and we also have maybe for your mother, if to better for her to maybe understand more, and also she can even, you know, bring other people that she knows, Al-Anon and Nar-Anon meetings, and that's for families and parents and loved ones for a member of the family who is addicted to drug or alcohol, and they get to understand and work with other families that have the same exact experience. So that might be something you might even want to bring up to your mother,
Yeah,
and also with the court
absolutely.
situation, it could definitely help out. But if
Yeah.
they know that you've been attending meetings, maybe definitely get custody.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's just, do you live just by yourself with your son?
Well, now I live by myself. I'm recently, getting separated from, my ex-husband now, just getting separated, gaining custody of, like, my son, and, starting a life on my own right now. I'm just focusing on, me, bettering myself, and then focusing on my son.
So being single parent is a little bit hard at the moment. I know you have the support from your mother, but that's definitely something hard that everybody has to do.
Yeah, definitely harder
than yourself.
Definitely harder than, what I was used to, but much better off.
Much better off.
Yeah, absolutely. Much better off than being in the relationship I was. Wasn't healthy, wasn't safe for me or my son, which is why I started to, sell cocaine and marijuana and use, because I was unhappy. I needed an income because he was never home. He was always spending our money on alcohol and drugs for himself. So I needed a way to take care of my son, and that's what I resorted to, because it was quick, it was easy, and I didn't have to leave my son. I was outside for a couple of minutes, and that was it.
That's good. Well, that's always good for that you completely put yourself out of the position that you were in, because unfortunately, things did happen with the police and everything, but once that did happen, it kind of was a little bit of maybe a wake-up call for you, and you were able to identify that you need to get out of the place. You need to, and now you can recognize what happened. Now you need to know that to get out of the place, so it's always helpful for you.
Yeah, like, granted, getting arrested and, being mandated here, at first I was angry and, like, didn't want to be here, didn't understand why I was here. And then starting going to, the meetings we had here, I kind of realized, like, I did have a problem. I did have a problem. I needed the help. And then, going back to, I have a son, I have a 2-year-old, and I needed to get out of where I was, what I was doing, in order to be able to be the mom I wanted for my son. And now that I'm here, I'm clean. I'm, working on leaving in a couple weeks, and, starting my life over again outside. Being a different, kind of mom, being more involved in my son's life. It's going to be helpful, and it's going to be more beneficial for me and for my son.
And like I said, the biggest thing is support groups. So we never know it's kind of like expecting the unexpected. You're anxious. You're leaving. When are you leaving? 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
So you're leaving in 2 weeks. You're not sure what's really going on, and your overall envision is that to get your son back, to stay clean, and to live in a safe place. And the biggest thing we don't know if that's going to happen at the moment. I mean, staying clean is always something great, but support groups is the biggest thing.
No, absolutely.
If you find yourself alone and you're having those triggers and you're freaking out and you're stressed, it's always great to just pick up the phone or even walk to a meeting. Like we tell some of the patients to, on the back of their door, write down every day, 3 times a day, of a meeting that you know. And if you're stressed, you're angry, you have it right there. You don't have to go search on the internet. You have a meeting that's written right on the back of your door, the time, the place, the address. So that's always, something great as a support group,
Something to keep in mind. I'm definitely going to, write down meetings every day, where they are, what times, so that you're right. Like, if I do have a trigger, I can look at it and be like, oh, look, there's a meeting going on now. Let me get myself right. Let me go.
And have you been learning some tools in the groups?
Yes, I've been learning some. Some of them, I don't like, but some of them, I do, like, understand, and will be working with, like, for myself, having someone that will be able to support me, and having someone there 24 hours when I do get a trigger that I can call. Like I was saying, like my mom has been a big help, and she understands. It's a lot more than just something I was doing for fun. It was an addiction I had, and now I have to break my addiction, and it's not going to be easy. I understand that, but with the support of her, and knowing that my son is waiting for me, and having the support of my son there, and being able to gain custody back of my son is something that I'm definitely going to take into consideration and definitely care for and use.
That's great. So I mean, even next week, if you want to come up with maybe one goal for yourself, let's just say actually a goal that we can work together with. Maybe you do a little bit of research on your own of some places that you could maybe find in your area, and that's some places that maybe you even know of or heard of that are in a more affordable environment and also safe for you and your son.
Okay.
So that'll be great for next week.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
It was great
you.
meeting with you. I'll
You
see you
too.
next week. Thank you.